Good morning, everyone. It's Jess. Welcome back to my garden for another video. So today I'm going to be doing some work in my Eastside Garden right here behind me. I'm going to try and get this entire bed all buttoned up and ready to go for the season. I definitely have some things that I want to transplant out of this bed. We're also going to be doing some planting today, so I'm so excited for that. We also need to address the drip in this bed, and then we're going to mulch. So lots to do. We have a gorgeous spring day today. We are supposed to be in the upper 80s today. Y'all, we were at 88 degrees yesterday. So it's about 8 o'clock in the morning right now. The sun has not peeked out yet. So I'm going to try to get as much done as I can before it gets too hot over here. So let me turn the camera around and show you guys what we're going to be doing. All right, so here is what the Eastside Garden is currently looking like. This is what I used to call formerly my shade garden. Again, as I just mentioned, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning right now, so the bed is an entire complete shade. Give it about an hour, and it's going to be in full sun up until about noon-ish. So a lot of the plants that I had planted in here intended for shade are getting way too much sunlight. So I wanted to kind of wait until things started peeking their heads up. We have had a ton of rain over the past week, and everything has started to flush out and peek its head through. So look, first of all, look at my Solomon seal, y'all. Like, this literally has grown in the past week, and its sweet little bells have shown up as well. I love their blooms. So I love that this is filling that entire space in. I definitely need to come in and mulch. I'm also going to do a slight trimming on my spirals here. But I really wanted to wait until my hostas in this bed started peeking their heads up so I know what I'm working with. So I have one coming up in the back here. That's a praying hands. I'm going to be transplanting that into the shade garden today. I'm going to leave my large callas that are coming up. I have some regular cannas that'll come up as well in this space. But you guys can see I have a large hosta that will come up here. This is a Brother Stephan, so I really wanted to see where that is. I also want to reconfigure this entire front swoop here because I'm just not loving the way that it's planted up. Also, I have been considering redoing my hydrangea hedge. I know, y'all, I literally just planted these 2 years ago. So I always get a lot of comments about how I'm always moving my plants around. I'm always transplanting, nothing ever gets settled. Y'all, these plants are all so young that you want to try and get the beds the way you want them while the plants are still young and establishing. So that is why I'm doing all the moving around, so I can get the beds exactly how I want them, so I won't have to transplant them when they're more mature. But anywho, I just feel like personally, this side of my house has a lot of bare wall space. Like, I want to try and get some taller things to grow up the side of the house. I only have my 2 spirals here, so I want some things planted with more height. So I've kind of been toying with the idea of planting either some evergreens that'll fill in this blank space, or I've also purchased 2 trellis to go on either side of my window here. I have decided not to do a window box under my window, but I'm still considering those 2 options. So we may or may not be redoing the hedge back here. And then also I have some more hostas that are coming up over here. Definitely going to be transplanting my wheat. It looks so pretty, y'all. Like, look at this. Love the variegation and the ruffled leaf structure. So pretty. And then I have a ton of hellebores, well, not a ton, but a good amount of hellebores coming up over here. They have done amazing. I'm going to leave those just because they have been thriving in this space. And y'all, I finally dug out my rhododendron yesterday. I did transplant it to my friend Rosa's house yesterday. So we have a nice blank space. I do have a tree in mind that I want to plant here. I also have some acanthus that is coming up over in the corner. I think I'm just going to dig that out and end up transplanting that as well. But yeah, y'all, that is the gist of what I have in the bed currently. Everything in this bed is on drip except for the small section from my air conditioning unit to my trash can. So as y'all can see, the sun has started to come out already. So I think I'm going to work here first. I need to go ahead and get this section of the bed on drip, and then I'll work my way back as the sun progresses. To be honest, y'all, I've been having such a hard time trying to figure out what I want to do on this side of the house. I am literally in a state of analysis paralysis. It's a very real thing. Like, when you have so much going on around the property, it's kind of hard to make decisions. And I want to try and get the trees established. I don't want to have to move them again, but y'all know me. It's probably going to end up moving or changing. But I definitely want to try and get the drip addressed first, because as y'all can see, Mr. Sunshine has shown his face. Also, oh, I didn't mention to y'all, I have actually purchased a structure to go over my AC unit here. So we may or may not get to that today. Priority is running drip, getting planted, and mulching the bed. So here's the area we're going to start in today. As you can see, the sun has already made its way over here. I'm going to kind of walk you through what I plan on doing for drip in this bed, more so for my own documentation so I can look back and reference it, but I figure I'll share it with you guys as well if you guys find it helpful. Here is where my hose bib is. Normally I have a Y splitter connected to my hose bib so that I can connect my hose and then also my drip line. So I'm going to disconnect this. I just have it connected because I've been watering some things. I'll connect my Y and I'll have one line connected to my black poly here. This black poly runs all the way down underneath my fence to water my beds in the backyard. So I'm going to connect it here. I have already ran it along the back line of my distilleums here. It runs back behind my trash cans, and then we did trench. I know it's kind of covered up here, sorry y'all. But we trenched over here. It does an elbow and it goes all the way down so that I can run drip in this bed here, which you guys saw in my previous video. So my plan is to run this entire section here on drip so that I don't have to come out here and hand water. I'm thinking I want to go with the half tubing with the emitters every 18 inches. I think that would be super easy to run a grid in this bed because I don't have a lot planted here. So let me go ahead and grab the supplies and we'll get to work. So here is the remainder of the drip tube that I pulled out of my backyard garden beds and used in my front bed. So along this entire drip tube, I do have some drip emitters that I had going to plants. These are 1 gallon per hour, which I'm thinking will be fine to leave them. You guys can see there's some more down on that end. I'm just going to inspect the line to make sure I don't have any leaks. Like here's a really bad pinch. Just want to make sure I'm not going to have any leaks or issues. I can always snip below these as well or put in a goof plug. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, see here, I knew there was an area. Here is where I had to cut off a drip line that I had running to a plant. So I'll probably just snip this off here and not use this. Yeah, see, look. Okay, this is what I wanted to show y'all. If you're going to be reusing your drip tube, always inspect it. See here, I have a hole. This would cause a leak. So I'm just going to snip off right below this drip emitter here. And we just won't use this end. But yeah, y'all, I'm going to get the camera set up and we'll get to work. So to make this as simple as possible, I think the easiest thing is to make a grid out of this section here. So what I'm going to do is cut into my line right about here. I'm going to insert a T-coupler so that way I can run the line straight along the back and then also run a line down this way. We'll elbow off into this direction and basically make this a nice rectangle. I did pick up a multi-pack of connectors here. These have elbows, T's, and straight couplers. So I'm going to try to get as much set up as I can on my own. Normally I like to wait for my boyfriend to come home so that he can push everything together, just because I do have some chest issues that prevent me from being able to push force together. I can lift things, but I can't put a lot of force on things. So I'm going to try to get as much done as I can. If not, I'll just get it set up and he can do the elbow grease when he gets home. Oh, y'all, I didn't even notice here when I was talking to y'all, I have a lungwort pup that has apparently come up off of this lungwort here. I'm going to dig that up and I got a whole free plant. All right, first things first, we're going to make a snip in the line here. I'm going to insert a T-coupler and then we'll run a line straight down the bed. Okay, y'all, so I had to take a break because my bestie just stopped by, but let me show you guys the progress I've made so far. So I've got the grid all completed. I did put in a T over here so that I could run a line down this way. We just elbowed off and it runs all the way down and it does the exact same thing on this side. So now what I think I want to do is move that center line up to all of the root balls and run 1 gallon per hour emitters to each of my larger plants. Okay, y'all, so I just noticed I have another break in my line right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut out this entire section, add a straight coupler just to fix that little piece here. So I've got the grid completed. I want to go ahead and dig out a couple of the plants that I'm going to be transplanting to the backyard. I have a hosta that is peeking through right about here. I also have one right here that just never thrives every single year. So I'm going to go ahead and dig those out. I'm going to bump forward my 2 geraniums so that they have a little bit more space to grow.
Turn to the other side. If you stay right here, I might move my hand to your face. It's been a long and tiresome day. I've been waiting to come home and give you everything that I have. Now we could stay awake all night and have dinner in bed. Slowly watch as the sun rises, or fall asleep instead.
Drip grid is all completed on this side, and boy, y'all, it feels so good to have this area automated. So basically what I did was I dug up both of the hostas that I had here. The one over here hardly had any roots, but the one here, I just put it here for now. We're going to plant that in the backyard. And then I moved both of my bloom chocolatas forward so that when they put on their blooms, they won't be hitting my distilleums. And then I do have a little brick sitting there just holding the drip tube down. I'm going to let it sit in the sun so it can stop popping up as much. The landscape staple literally just kept popping out of the ground. And then all we need to do now is mulch. So here is the mulch I'm going to be using. You guys saw that I got this delivered a couple weeks ago. This is the premium black mulch by Stay Green. I really don't care for this mulch, you guys, but I've got it. It was super cheap and it was free to get it delivered. So we're going to use this to fill up the bed over on my east side. I've already used half a pallet to fill up my bed down here. And then also I did my entire limelight hydrangea hedge. So this will probably use maybe about half of this pallet, and then we can use the rest to do my backyard beds. All right, y'all, beginning of the Eastside Garden is all watered in and mulched. So I'm gonna work on this area here. I don't plan on making any changes, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some mulch in this area as well. Y'all, I thought I had lost this hydrangea, but look, it's pushing out new growth. So I'm actually gonna get this potted into a small pot so that it can rehab. That is exciting. This is one of the weed whites that I planted last season. Oh, I'm so excited about that. Y'all, I had to take a break. I am sweating. It is so hot and muggy out here. But this was a quart size when I planted it last season. So I'm going to bump it up into this 1 gallon container and hopefully it'll rehab. I'm so excited that it still has growth on it. I really thought I lost this hydrangea, y'all. Whew, it is hot out here, y'all. I had to go in and take a little bit of a break, get some water. But we're back at it. I'm determined to get this bed all tidied up today. So the sun is just starting to move over here, y'all. Look. So we're going to be working in the sun. It's okay. I can rest tomorrow. But let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm considering planting in this section. Okay, y'all, so here is my collection of plants that still need to get into the ground. I know it looks like a lot, but trust me, y'all, planting goes super fast for me. Once my beds are established, I just pop them in the ground. They'll be all right. So the first one that I'm considering is this coral bark Japanese maple here. This one cannot take our harsh afternoon sun. So I think this one would be a really good specimen to plant over on my Eastside shade garden. Well, old shade garden. And then I also have a lemon cypress tucked in the back there that is starting to brown, so it definitely needs to get out of its can and in the ground ASAP. Need to find somewhere for that to go. And then I'm also considering one of these yellows here. I have a lot of yellow to be planted. I also have a hinoki cypress over here. So yeah, I don't know. I have so many different options. I'm just gonna grab a few trees, kind of play around with placement and see what we come up with. Y'all, this is so hard. It's starting to stress me out. So I have 2 main focal areas that I'm really trying to decide. Let me show you guys what I'm struggling with. Okay, so this space here, I really want to be a main focal. So I have a spiral over on this side, a spiral on this side. They are evenly spaced away from the window. So I've got this nice space here. Y'all know how I am with my balance and symmetry. I have a Brother Stefan hosta right here that I'm going to be digging out. I could really plant a focal tree right here in the center. So I'm considering my gold drift here, which only grows about 6 feet tall. So I think that would be a cute little specimen. I don't have too much evergreen interest over here. Or I could do my coral bark Japanese maple, which will get some nice size and cast some shade in this area. I don't know. Let's get in place and I'll try to decide. Okay, y'all, I am really struggling with deciding on what I want to go in this space here. So I have a couple options here. I have my gold drift and my coral bark maple behind me. And I'm thinking for a nice focal piece here in the center, the coral bark would make a nice option. That way, when it grows up in the summertime, it'll cast a little bit of shade to give my plants some reprieve. I'm thinking that's a really good option, but y'all know me. I've got to work with a blank slate. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig out the plants that I know are not staying, and then we can figure out what's going in the ground. Well, I knew it was gonna be inevitable. I have drip run throughout this bed. I already cut a drip line. It's okay. Okay, y'all, so we have a little bit of a problem. One, I hit a drip line. You can see that sticking up here. I tried to dig around to find where it connected to, and I can't find it. Also, I know that I have some calla lilies that come up in this section here. I have no idea where that plant is. Like, there's no sign of life. So I'm just going to get to digging and see if I can find it, and we'll find somewhere to plant those eventually. But I really want to go ahead and get my hydrangeas moved. This one right here on the ends, just because once they grow up, these are way too close together. So I'm thinking about moving that one here, and then the one on the end a little bit forward. Good news, I found my drip line. Bad news, I did end up digging up all of my canna bulbs. So I'm gonna have to find somewhere for those to go. I really don't have a vision on where I want them to go. I don't know, y'all. They're gonna sit on the curb until I figure it out. Okay, so now that I kind of have an idea of what's going in this space, I'm gonna go ahead and dig up this hydrangea right here, transplant that to here, and I'm gonna do the same thing with that one. I'm gonna bump it up here, so I'm pretty sure there's some more canna bulbs planted in that space over there. But I'm gonna work on this side first because sun is moving from right to left. Ooh, I like that a lot, y'all. Okay, let me go ahead and work on the other side. I'm really loving the placement so far. So basically I have my hydrangeas planted in a zigzag, which I'm loving. It looks kind of like a little W, and I can pop my tree right here in the center. I am so excited. Let's go ahead and get that in the ground, and then I'm gonna take a break for lunch. All right, y'all, Japanese maple is planted, so are the hydrangeas, and I'm loving the focal piece. And I also love that as it grows, I can limb it up and have room to plant underneath it. Whew, y'all, one tree in the ground, several more to go, but it feels so good to have this area finally taking shape. My boyfriend just got home, so I'm gonna break for lunch, and then I'll be back to plant the other trees. Okay, y'all, I'm back. It is several hours later now. It's about 5 o'clock, so you can see we are now in the shade, which I'm so grateful, y'all. It is 85 degrees out here now, and it is super humid. We are expecting thunderstorms tomorrow and Monday, so hopefully everything over here will get nicely watered in. But I did do some plant shopping as well while I was out, and I have so many projects, you guys. I'm so excited about it. But I think I've done some thinking. I saw some trellis that I really like to go in this area, but I do have a plant in mind for this corner back here. Let me show you. So here is what I'm going to be planting. This is my lemon cypress, and yes, it looks very rough just because it is ready to get out of its pot and in the ground, you guys. I'm going to basically pull off all of these like dead, ooh, these things are kind of spiky. Pull off all the dead, get it in the ground, and hopefully it will rebound. It just needs some water, y'all. So after much deliberation, I'm thinking I want the lemon cypress to go right here in this corner. I think it'll fill in this space nicely and add a nice pop of color. So there's a few clumps of acanthus that have kind of spread in this area. I'm gonna go ahead and dig those out. The two red things you're seeing are the drip emitters that are going to go to this tree. And then I'm also gonna dig out this little hosta down here in the front.
Gone before I realized I was out of my way. We sit and talk, I see your crying eyes turning red through the day. I share my mind with.
So I'm not really sure at this point if the tree even has a good side, but I'm thinking the greenest is the side that's facing out front.
The teardrops hanging from your upper lip, clinging on, afraid to fly. And I wait for the night when I will hold you tight.
Cypress is planted, and I think it's going to fill in this space nicely. Fingers crossed it rebounds. So this one does get about 8 feet wide and 15 feet tall. So it'll grow about 4 feet out each direction. So I tried to center it as much as possible with growth in mind. And then also to fill in space just temporarily, I'm thinking about maybe putting in a small little planter in the back there. I have a nice trailing hydrangea that I just purchased, and I think it'll be really pretty back there. So I think I've decided on the next tree I want to get planted in this space. This is my gold drift. This is a Picea abies. It is a spruce, and you can see it's already pushing out its new growth for the spring. I think it'll fill in and add a nice pop of yellow to this area. Y'all, I like it. I don't like it. I love it. It looks so cute in that space, you guys. I am loving how everything is starting to fill in. So I still need to figure out what I want to plant over on this side. I'm thinking another spruce tree, but I'm not sure. I also still kind of have room to do the trellis idea, you guys. This is so cute. Whew, y'all, I gotta ease into gardening season. It is so hot out here. I'm not ready for this. So I'm gonna go in and take a break, get some water, and then I'm gonna come back out, fix the drip, and then we're gonna mulch.
While the spring's still here.
All right, drip line is partially mended, so I put a cross in here so I can run a 1 gallon to the tree. I'm also going to be extending the line to run drip along my front border here, and then I also put in a mender over on this side so it can continue throughout the rest of the bed. I think the plants are going to be happy. Okay, y'all, so I'm feeling really good about the progress I'm making so far, but I'm still feeling a little bit of analysis paralysis. Like, I still can't decide what I want to do over here. I've temporarily placed my Frankie boy, but I'm not sure if I'm loving that there. So I'm gonna let it sit for a couple days, think on it, but try and get away from my analysis paralysis. I am gonna go ahead and work on planting up this front space here. I have a couple of options for annuals I've purchased. Let me show y'all. I almost forgot to show y'all, my daffodils are finally coming into bloom. Just a few blooms opened up, but I just want to get a shot on camera before I forget. Look at that gorgeous bloom. So I don't know the name of this variety. They are a very late blooming variety, but they look so, so pretty. I'm loving how the front bed is looking with all the white and the green. So sweet. So here are all the annuals that I have been collecting from all of the Spring Black Friday deals. So over here I have some marigolds and Dusty Miller. I have 2 flats of white begonias. I'm thinking I want to put these around my front tree ring to tie in the cohesiveness with the white I have along my front drift here and then in the tree ring over there. And each of these were an 8-pack for $1.50, y'all. Like, could not beat that deal. So I just racked up. I also got a whole flat over here, $1.50 for each 8-pack of pink. And I purchased these intending to go in the front swoop. So I'm thinking I'm gonna lay these out, see how they look, and then maybe sprinkle in some Dusty Millers. I'm not sure. I also have some gorgeous Super Tunered Bordeaux that I got on clearance from Lowe's. Purchased these intending to put into my pots. So we'll see if I can get to that today as well. So I have 2 packs of 8 planted here. So basically what I did was I planted pink along the front border here. These are all begonias. Then I sprinkled a couple into the bed just to draw your eye back just a little bit. And then we've got a nice little swoop here of the Dusty Millers. I'm hoping they do well. So I'm going to start mulching this bed now. I think I'm going to mulch everything except for this front section here, just because I still have to go to the store and get some more of the small quarter drip line to run another line so that these will get nice and watered in. So yeah, y'all, I think it's going to be gorgeous.
I swear that's Runner J.
All right, you guys, so the last thing I'm going to do in this bed today is plant up this urn. I just decided to place it here for now. It still needs a touch-up paint job, but I have the perfect plants to go in it. So let me go ahead and fill up the pot. I've got the planter all potted up, and I think it's going to be so gorgeous back there in the corner temporarily. So here's a look at the tag. It is a cascading hydrangea called Fairy Trail Bride. It is by Proven Winners. This one does take full to partial sun. It gets about 4 feet tall and wide, and hardy zones 6 through 9. So I think it's going to do amazing in this corner. It is a lace leaf or lace bloom hydrangea, which y'all know that was my obsession last year. So I think it's going to be so cute in the corner. Again, please ignore the little white spot on the pot. I still need to do my touch-up paint job, but I am so thrilled with how this area is going to be filling in. All right, you guys, so I got everything planted, watered in, and mulched, and if I must say so myself, this bed is going to be phenomenal if everything survives. I'm so excited about it. So really quickly, let me turn the camera around and run you guys through everything that I did today. So starting off on this end here, the first thing we did was run drip throughout this entire bed, which I'm so glad I did, y'all. Like, I don't have to come out here and hand water once it gets super hot. I'll just turn it on and everything will be automated. So I'm so happy I did that. I did decide to leave my lungwort here. I have a calla lily planted that look like it's on its way out, you guys. This one blooms super early. I got it from Trader Joe's about a month ago or so. I did also decide to bump up both of my Boom Chocolata geraniums. They're looking a little sad right now, but trust me, y'all, they will perk up once they get some sun. In the center, I decided to pop in just one of my little plugs that I dug up of dianthus. It'll be nice and low growing and just a simple pop of color underneath all of my distilleum. And then I have a plantain lily coming up in here along the front border. Off camera, I decided to pop in a drift of the leftover begonias, and I think it's going to be so pretty once all of this fills in. This right here is another calla lily that I got from Trader Joe's. Look at the color on this, y'all. So gorgeous. So yeah, I'm loving all the plantings in this bed. In between my distilleums, I do have 2 rows of Sharon trees that are just starting to leaf out. So those will bloom later on in the season, but y'all, I'm so happy with how this section looks. Over here, we just have my hose here. I still need to hook up my Y and the hose connector and all of that in the drip system. I'm not ready to start running my drip yet, y'all, so it's just looking like this temporarily. I know the faucet's leaking. It's night tightened all the way. We'll get it together. Over here, I just kept everything bare. I did dig out the hydrangea I had planted here. I put it in a pot. Fingers crossed I can rehab it. But I do still need to come in and finish mulching just over here. And then I will come in and cover up my air conditioning unit, which I'm so excited about, you guys. Along the front border here, I did decide to carry the drift of begonias all the way down till I get to my hellebores on the end. Over here, I have my clump of Solomon seal coming in looking phenomenal. I have my spiral topiary doing great. And then back here, I decided to leave my praying hands hosta. We'll see how it does. If it struggles, I can always dig it up and move it to the back shade garden. Over here, y'all, a new addition here, we have my gold drift spruce, which I am so excited to see how this does, y'all. And look at all the new growth. Isn't it pretty? I love the new tips in the springtime. Down here, I have a big clump of giant calla lily that will come up a little bit later in the season, y'all. Those blooms are to die for. I did also move 2 of my hydrangeas here, so now they are planted in a W shape, which I'm loving. You guys, I'm trying not to plant in so many straight lines around my property and do more plant grouping. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. In the center, my focal point is going to be this gorgeous coral bark Japanese maple. And yes, y'all, I know it looks a little bit crazy right now. I'm just going to let it put out strong roots this season, and then I'll start training it into the shape that I want. It clearly needs some help deciding on a leader, so I will come in and probably cut this branch back. And here, y'all, I don't know if you can see, but this leader is staked and it's actually splitting into 2. So we're gonna have to help train it into the shape that I want, and I'll also continue trimming up the bottom as it grows. Down in front of that, I have a small drift of Dusty Miller. I got a pack of these for $1.50. Never grown them before. We'll see how they do. I know they take full sun, so they'll get a strong block of sun, and then in the afternoon they'll be protected in the shade, as you guys can see. Moving right along, I have another clump of giant calla lily here. Do have plans to divide this at some point because I want some of this to go into my back shade garden, but for now it's coming in nice and full and lush. I did also add in a few more begonias because I had some left over just to fill in this space. Still haven't decided what I want to do here, you guys. I have my Frankie Boy arborvitae just sitting here temporarily. This one does get about 6 feet tall over time, but again, y'all, I'm trying to get more upward growth here, and I'm really considering doing the trellises. I know I didn't show you guys the trellises. I'm still trying to get my thoughts together. We will definitely do updates later in the season. Back behind my other arborvitae spiral here, I kept my wee hosta just because this one actually did pretty well last year. I think because it's protected by the arborvitae here. So I just left it there. It's coming in gorgeous. I have my big grouping of hellebores here. I did decide to dig up the hosta that I had planted here. Going to plant that in the backyard, and just decided to move 3 of my small little baby hellebores to hopefully eventually fill in this space. Like literally, y'all, this is exactly how all of these hellebores looked when I got them 2 years ago on clearance for $2.50. So I'm hoping these will beef up in size. And then y'all, you saw that I also planted my lemon cypress here, and y'all, I am praying that this thing loves its spot. Okay, it is really starting to brown, which is kind of stressing me out because it was so gorgeous when I bought it. Of course, this is normally sold during Christmas time, so this is a very winter loving plant. And I think it just waited way too long to get out of its pot and in the ground, so I'm hoping it will survive. Around it, I did tuck in a few more of the leftover begonias I had just to fill in space until this starts to put on some size, fingers crossed. And then last but not least, over here in my corner, on my lunch shopping trip that I did earlier today, I picked up this gorgeous Fairy Trail Bride hydrangea. This is a cascading hydrangea. It does bloom lace cap blooms, and I tried to pick one where the blooms were not all open yet. So as you guys can see, there's a ton of buds that are going to open, and this will cascade over the planter over time. And I do have plans to swap out this planter. I'm just working with what I had in the garage. So again, I still need to come in and spray paint it. I'm not really loving the black in the back corner. I really would love to have something brighter, but for now it works. And then of course we have my 2 ligustrum topiaries that are doing okay, y'all. I still need to come in and give these guys some super thrive like I did last year to help them push out some more growth for the season. But yeah, y'all, I think this area is going to be so gorgeous once it blooms. I still have to come in and work on my walkway here, so I'm trying to decide if I like these pavers or not. I'm not sure. That'll be in another video. But yeah, y'all, I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here for now. I feel really good about the progress I made today. Like literally, I was out here all day, minus like 2 hours or so while I was shopping. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I will catch you in my next video. Peace.